To me, that's why Algorand can't fail. Like, people have to understand, Silvio has been doing cryptography longer than most blockchain CEOs have been alive.
Yes, this is exactly it.
Let's move on to, let's bring John up here. John, what is going on?
Hey, BitBoy, thanks for having me on. How's it going?
Pretty good. Things are going well. So, John, you're from Algorand. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do there.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I'm John Woods. I'm the CTO at the Algorand Foundation. So really, my job is to effectively, I guess, guide the ecosystem technically, make strategic decisions with the foundation so that we're skating to the right place. And so the types of things I've done since I've joined is try to work on the developer experience, make sure that it's really easy for people to build dApps that are cool on Algorand. So it takes not as much time and not as much money as it took previously. And also, I guess, just to foster kind of an environment where it's fun to use Algorand and people understand how to use it and what the cool services are.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so what I'd like to say here is, do you work at the Boston office?
No, I work at a Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, you're in Ireland.
I'm actually, yeah, I work from home. Yeah, I work from home.
Did you see when we went to the office?
No, I didn't.
You
I
missed
didn't see that.
Yeah, we went to the office. Nobody was there. It was a Saturday, and we found a trick in the elevator to get up there. I probably shouldn't say what it is, but have you been there to the office?
No, I've not been because the Inc. are based there, right? The engineering team are based there, but I guess I haven't been over to see those guys because I've of course worked with the foundation guys more so. But we're two companies pushing in the same direction.
So it's kind of cool. Like you go up there, you get off the elevator, and then they've got this little like TV that like blinks and it says Algorand on it, and it points you in a direction to go. So, anyways, we left a note. Those said me and AJ were there. So we're big fans of Algorand. I like Silvio. Actually, like a lot of people, I said this very early on. I did a sponsor video for Algorand like the first week y'all launched. I actually helped, I wasn't on the launch team or anything like that, but, I only had probably 6,000 subscribers, maybe 8,000 subscribers. I was very small at the time. And I really liked, I kind of like, well, this is going to sound kind of weird. I kind of fell in love with Silvio Macaulay. Like, okay, I don't mean in a weird way. He's the he's the godfather of cryptography.
He is. He's amazing. I've met him a bunch of times in person, and most recently at Paris Blockchain Week, we hung out together a little bit. And he really is just a gentleman. He's like an old Italian gentleman, very experienced, and he's, of course, brought so much value to the world of cryptography, right? He's just really the father of modern zero-knowledge proofs and all this stuff that all these blockchains are built on, right? He was one of the inventors or co-inventors of.
To me, that's why Algorand can't fail. Like, people have to understand, Silvio has been doing cryptography longer than most blockchain CEOs have been alive.
Yes, this is exactly it. And so here, here's the thing, BitBoys. Like, I actually feel like the biggest problem Algorand's had is not like the crypto chops or the engineering chops or like the skill with all the geeky stuff, right? Because we have that stuff nailed. The technology's best in class. We have like some of the people who invented this whole scene, right? Like honestly, Silvio's like the Snoop Dogg of crypto, right?
Yeah.
Our problem is that we just didn't get the message out to people to understand this stuff. And so, one of the things I'm trying to do, and I'll never be as brilliant as Silvio is, but one of the things I'm trying to do right now is educate folks so they understand this stuff, to talk to people about the technology in a simple way. And also, as I mentioned at the start of the show, the start of my segment, is make it easier to use.
Yeah. And I think really you hit it head on. I mean, I remember even when I was looking into it for my, for that video that I did very early on, I think it would have been like August of 2019, I think it was. That was around the launch time, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's that would have been like in its infancy. Absolutely.
It was the Dutch auction. It was during the Dutch auction. So like, I remember looking into it like, what is a Dutch auction? Like, I didn't know what any of this stuff was, So I do think there is a pretty big learning curve for people that are into Algorand compared to people that are in like Ethereum. But I think the learning curve is only because Ethereum did it one way. And everybody saw that and was early in that. And that's just the way people are used to. Kind of like they talk about with hardware wallets. Like Trezor and Ledger were first. So everybody thinks the way hardware wallets should work is the way they do. But that's just the way that they did it. And I think that's kind of a good analogy for Algorand. Like Algorand is a layer 1 blockchain, but it's doing things a little bit different. What is it that makes Algorand different from other layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum or Cardano?
Right. So like, people flex on these kind of things all the time, but I'm going to like give you the reality of it. Algorand security is best in class. It uses this pure proof of stake consensus mechanism, which uses Silvio Macali's verifiable random functions. And that's a lot of words. But what it really means is to defraud Algorand, you'd have to have this enormous majority of the coins. And so whilst the algo token is distributed to people who are holding it on a majority basis who are honest, it is literally mathematically impossible for Algorand to have a security incident, right? So the consensus mechanism is secure because of the people that are holding it. And so if we move then to like its next virtue is in terms of its speed. Algorand, you might look at a lot of chains quote TPS, like they flex on TPS.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got 80,000 TPS, 100,000 TPS. Algorand's TPS is just under about 10,000. But here's the critical thing. What Algorand can do in those 10,000 TPS can blow away some of the chains that have 50,000 TPS, because Algorand gets more done per transaction than some of the other chains. In Algorand, every single transaction per second goes towards doing useful work, not doing things like consensus. And this is critical. And then what builds on that, I talked about the VRF, what Silvio came up with for consensus. This allows us to have a chain that never has any short forks. Now, this is a bit technical, but like in a lot of blockchains out there, Cardano, where I used to work, Ethereum, where I used to work as well, Polygon, all these different chains, they can suffer from this kind of breaking consensus for a second, where there's two chains that are kind of competing and then one of them dies away, and it's all good. But what happens if you're on one of those chains that dies away? You have to replay your transaction. So people will be using Ethereum. Sometimes their transaction gets reverted. They got to replay it. Well, Algorand doesn't have that. So when you're building apps in Algorand, or you send money to your friends or someone else, that person receives it and you don't have to worry it's going to get rolled back. It's just done in 3 seconds. Yeah. And so these are critical things. And then finally, Algorand is cheap and it's green, man, because the whole network right now is using about as much electricity as a charging Tesla is, right? So it's a really good story. And like I said at the start, the only thing that we have a problem with is getting people to understand just how great it is.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the big advantages you guys have, I think, are very conducive to enterprise. The way I've kind of always, for some reason, I know you've worked at some other layer 1 platforms as well. I always have looked at HBAR and Algorand very similar. Like, I know that they're not the same technologies, right? They're totally different when you look at the hash graph consensus and then the consensus you guys use. But to me, like both of these projects are really good tech. They have really good leadership. They've got really strong communities, but for some reason, like they're like under marketed almost. And it's because the focus is so much on the tech, I think is one of the big reasons there. But what is your experience? Like what blockchains do you look at outside of Algorand and say, okay, these are probably our biggest competitors?
So I think Near does it well in terms of its education. So I think the focus that it has on developer experience is really good. So I've taken some inspiration from that when I built out the documentation and worked with the team to build AlgoKit. AlgoKit, by the way, is the name of the cool new tool that's going to make it super easy to build on Algorand. And AlgoKit is launching in 2 days on March 29th. Awesome. Version 1.0 of AlgoKit. It's going to be really, really cool. Honestly, like a 12-year-old kid could use AlgoKit to launch an NFT on Algorand. It's going to be that easy to use.
I'm gonna have my kid who has his own YouTube channel. He's 11. I'm gonna have him launch his own NFT on there. How about that?
Let's do it. I'll go on live with him. We can do it together.
Sweet.
So Near is good. Solana, of course, is well known, and I think it does some things right. I like the idea that it's using like GPUs and NPUs and other kind of like using all the stuff inside of your computer to accelerate things. Of course, it's had some issues. Avalanche is interesting. Of course, it's a competitor with the co-chains and the subchains and that kind of model. I'm not sure how usuful that is. I think if you get your layer 1 correct,
I just said I'm out on Avalanche today, so it's perfect that you were saying this now. I think Solana's done too. I mean, I think Solana's. I mean, the fact that they just chose centralization. That's what they chose. I mean, that's why that's why it's faster.
Well, yeah, to a degree, but I tell you one thing. In all these chains, and even Cardano, I was the chief
Yeah.
architect on Cardano before I moved over to Algorand, and so I can tell you, the amount of engineering and love and time and thought that's gone into all of these chains is immense. And for me, Algorand doesn't have to be the only winner. I think it's about making sure that we give to people a decentralized operating system. So not everything is going to run just on your Mac or on Windows or on your phone. We want to be able to have a decentralized, self-sovereign, permissionless operating system, and that's what crypto gives people, and that's a powerful thing because not everyone lives in a place like I do, or you do, or some of the viewers do. That enjoys financial freedom, and a lot of places are repressed. And these platforms we're building can change people's lives. This is important stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We're big fans. Algorand is one of the only coins that's in my in my bio. We have my top coins are XRP, ADA, ETH, ICP, HBAR, Algo, Matic, and Bitcoin, of course. So we definitely have Algorand in that list. We love Algorand. We think it's a great project. One question I did want to ask you before we go here is, as you know, Coinbase just ended the Algorand staking on Coinbase.
Right.
If people are interested in staking their Algorand in like an on-chain experience, how would they go about figuring out where to do that?
Sure. So it's a really good question. So of course, Coinbase did that for all kinds of reasons, and I know they published something about the SEC giving them a Wells notice and all this kind of stuff. So they had their reasons, and that's of course their business to do that. And as an exchange, I can understand why they don't want to be handling people's money like that. And so, if folks want to get involved with governance, it's super easy to do so. All you have to do is withdraw your coins, your algo from Coinbase. And by the way, you should take your coins off centralized exchanges just generally across all cryptocurrencies, in my personal view. And you can put them in any of the wallets that we have. Para is a great one as an example. Para wallet, P-E-R-A. It's available for iOS and Android. Runs on your phone, super secure. And from Para, you can engage in governance and earn your yield. I think it's about 6% or something like that. I'm not entirely sure of the number, but it's a decent yield. And you can get involved in governance. And all you got to do is withdraw your coins from Coinbase to Para, as an example, and then go to our governance portal. And there you can sign a single transaction and you'll be set up for governance. So really easy. And if anyone out there wants to follow me on Twitter at John Allen Woods, you can drop me a DM directly and I'll make sure that we get our tech guys to help you set up if you're struggling with this. But withdraw from centralized exchanges like Coinbase, pop it in a wallet like Para Wallet, and then go to our governance portal. It's one-click sign up, and you'll be earning your yield.
Can we run an Algorand node, or is it still possible to start a node?
Absolutely. There's two types of node: relays and participation. Relays is the consensus one. The relays are completely the consensus nodes are completely permissionless. Anyone can run one at any time. And in fact, by the way, we're going to be rolling out these one-click nodes again. Coming back, making it easier for people. I'm rolling out this software. You click one button, and a node pops up. So absolutely, you can do that. At the moment, it's a little bit tricky. Over the next few weeks, we'll have this one-click node out. And it's going to get real easy.
Love that. Let's do that. I definitely want to run one because, like I said, we're a big supporter of Algorand. And thank you so much for coming on, John. You guys make sure to go follow him on Twitter. And John, we'll be in touch.